Hey guys, Bitcoin is on a knife's edge right now. So we're going to have a recap of the bullish scenario, which we already looked at in the previous video, and then we're going to have a look at the bearish scenario, and then we're going to have a look at horizontal support and resistance in a way that you've probably never looked at it before. So if you like the sound of that, stick around. But first, all I ask in exchange for the content is that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. With that out of the way, let's get on with it. Okay, so here I am on the Bitcoin chart that you would have seen in the previous video. You'll notice that the count has changed a little bit. As more information has appeared on the chart, I've had to change and update my count. I was looking at this as a bit of a falling wedge, but as it seems to have played out more as I've got it here. So we've got a bit of a expanding diagonal there, which is sort of like the opposite of a symmetrical triangle, okay? And it's skewed down, and that sometimes happens with triangles as well. If there's too much downwards pressure, it creates that sort of unusual shape, right? So we've got A, B, C, D, E, and then it breaks to the downside. And I'm pretty confident that this count is accurate. The only problem is that we're really close to it being invalidated. If it goes below the start of wave 1, then that breaks one of the main Elliott wave rules, that wave 2 can't retrace past the origin of wave 1. So that would invalidate the count. So very close to that happening. If that happens, then things start to look pretty bearish from that point. So now where we are right here, I did actually open a trade here, but I decided to close it because I don't like the way this is developing. So originally I had a channel drawn in. Let me just grab the magnet tool. At the time, we'd bounced here, had a channel drawn in here, and I said, okay, look, if we break this channel, probably just going to exit out of this trade, just be a little bit more patient. And then if we break back into the channel and get to the upside of the channel, okay, I can consider that third wave price action and maybe take a trade there. This has developed a little bit further. We've had another low come in here. So if we change that now, you need to be flexible with your technical analysis. Sometimes what you've forecasted doesn't come to fruition, and can't be stubborn. You've got to be open to the new information that's being presented on the chart there and update your analysis as you go. So I've updated this. The best way to view this at the moment is A, B, and then C up here. Until this breaks this channel, I can't really view this as being an impulsive move. And on top of that, if we're honest with the way this chart looks, this is very steep price action here, and to me it looks more impulsive than corrective. Even though it does fit the rules of an ABC correction, it still wouldn't be a typical ABC correction. And this here is quite shallow, which to me at the moment looks corrective. So if it breaks above there, I can say it's impulsive. I can say we've started a 5-wave count up, and I'd be happy to get involved. Until then, I'm just going to stay out of it. That's the situation for me right now. If we break below here, then that would be pretty bearish. The other thing to take into consideration is what's happening in the stock market right now. So if I just jump across, I've got another chart that I set up here. I've got the Bitcoin price here, and we've got the S&P 500. I've lined those up so that the dates roughly match up. You can see the dates here, and I've just drawn a line here where we've had a sell-off in the S&P 500, and you see that shortly after we have a sell-off in the S&P 500, Bitcoin usually follows, right? So we've had a sell-off that started here. Bitcoin is starting to follow. We've got about 30 hours before the market opens back up, and it won't be very good for Bitcoin if the market opens up and dumps. So that's something that you want to keep an eye on. We've got about 30 hours, like I said. So if we just jump back to this other setup here, this is a 1 hour chart, so that we can have another 30 hours, 30 candles on this chart, right? 30 candles can go a hell of a long way in Bitcoin if it decides to get its pump on. So this is still a valid setup, and it could still pump, it could still meet its target. We don't know what's going to happen. As you've seen in the past, when Bitcoin decides to move, it can move really, really fast. It can have $1,000 candles very, very easily. So I remain open to it being bullish, but at the moment I'm neutral, and we'll just wait and see what happens with this channel. Moving on now, I want to have a look at horizontal support and resistance. So where are we going to end up if we do break to the downside, right? So I've got this major level of support put in here. As I said before, we're going to discuss a type of support and resistance that you might not have heard of before, and it's doji. I call it doji support and resistance. So if you ever look at any chart, you'll see that if there is a doji candle, okay, it doesn't have to be a perfect doji, just a small bodied candle before a large move, an impulse move, that typically leaves behind a strong level of support, right? And if it's a move upwards, then it's the top of the doji. If it's a move downwards, then it's the bottom of the doji. So if you have a look at this one here, for example, we can see that very clear support this is providing over here. Right now, let's just grab my horizontal line tool. We've got another doji or a small body candle right here, okay? If we mark the top of that, okay, you can see that we've had a nice reaction to that right here. And there's actually another one that's right in front of it. So typically what I would do there is I would mark both of those and just treat that entire area as an area of support and resistance. And you can see that that is the case. So, and you can do this anywhere, right? So obviously we've got a pretty big move to the downside here. If you were to mark the bottom of that doji before this was to move, you'll find that when we come up here, okay, you will almost definitely get a reaction there. And we've got another one right here. It'd be worth putting that one into, okay? So this is going to be an area of resistance that we're going to have to get through later. The same applies to these ones down here, although they're in the middle of a move. There's a pause and then a massive move. A lot of trading took place there. That's going to be a resistance area there. I would just take the entire thing. Since there's two dojis right next to each other, I would just take that entire area there and say that that area there is going to be another area of resistance. Got another one right here, this doji there. Bang. You can see get a couple of reactions there. We've had a reversal right there on that resistance area. So yeah, that's another way that you can plot support and resistance. It's very, very accurate most of the time. We've got another one right here. Let's have a look. There you go, reversal right on it there, another reversal there. So yeah, if you haven't heard of that one before, doji support and resistance. Sometimes when you've got them nice and close together like this, it's better to just grab a rectangle tool and just chuck it in like that. So right now, obviously we're sitting right above a really good area of support, right? So we don't want to be looking at shorts when we're sitting right above support. If we lose this, however, I would be open to looking at some short positions, and obviously that's going to be a support area right there. You can see we've got a wick touch there, another wick there, candle close right there. So that's going to be next area at 30,000. If we lose 30,000, or actually I would say that it's this wick here. If we lose the bottom of this wick, I will be taking a lot of my cryptocurrency into cash, okay, because that is the worst case scenario at this point. Actually, let's just drag that across because we've had several reactions on that area. So that's another major area to look out for. And what do you know, there's a doji there. See that doji right there? Okay, and you've got the other one below it. So that's starting to look a bit messy in there, but that whole area is a very, very relevant point of support there. If we lose that, that's not going to be good for Bitcoin. Another area to look for a reaction. Let me just clean those up a bit. They're going to get in my way. Another area to look for a reaction is if I'll just use the magnet tool here, come from here to there, and then I will extend that to the right. Pays to be accurate and use the magnet tool and then just extend it out rather than dragging it across. You can actually, the further you extend it out, the more inaccurate it's going to get if you're not perfect, right? So if you use the magnet tool, it's going to be perfect. Right, so let's just open this up a bit. I would expect if we were to lose this level here, I would expect to at least get a bounce here. If it falls straight through there, that's really bad. Really likely to get a bounce there. That's our sort of last line of defense there. If we lose that, I'm not going to say that the bull market's over, but it's likely that we'll end up in a bear market that lasts, weeks, months. Who knows, but it won't be good. So yeah, that's the video I got for you guys today. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next one. Thanks, guys.